Morning, I'm Benita, also known as B. This is George. We're going to do a haircut for George today. We're going to just show you the basics of a boy's haircut with scissors. What we're doing is George has got rather long hair, like really long hair, so we're going to trim it to something a bit more manageable for him. This is something that I've been doing for a very long time. George is my own child. So we are safe, we are in lockdown, and this is just something to help you guys know how to manage this, because there's been a few questions on the group. So first things first, you need some equipment. First off, you need your child, who needs to have freshly washed hair, which is why George is wearing my lovely pink turban. You need a gown. If you don't have a gown, then a large towel will do, and you're going to need some clips. Now, I'm using crocodile clips. These are quite easy to get hold of. Even most supermarkets have them if you really don't have any. If you don't, then use two towels, sling one over the front, one over the back, so that they overlap nice and tight around the neck, and that way you don't get loads of hair all over your child. Okay, so I'm going to clip him up. The first things first, we're going to wrap this all the way around, and then we're going to clip it. And as you can see, it's quite nice and snug around the neck. Okay. Then we are going to take this towel off. You ready, George? I can't get it off. Are you alright if I just give it a tug? There you go. Look at all that hair. Isn't that a lot? Okay, so other equipment you're going to need is a pair of scissors. Hairdressing scissors, ideally. Don't try and do this with kitchen scissors. For a child, so that you're not tugging on their hair, a nice wide tooth comb. Any additional clips that you might need, and a pair of thinning scissors if you happen to have them. Okay, so we're going to get started. So first things first, comb the hair back. There's quite a bit of curl in your hair today, sweetie.
I know.
This will enable you to find the natural parting, comb the hair back, and then give it a push with your hand, and you'll see that you get a little dimple here. This is the natural parting. Always try and work with the natural parting. If you have a little girl, try and cut their hair centrally, because that way you don't have to worry about where their parting is, particularly if they're wearing a fringe. Okay, so we're going to section the hair off. I've got another clip here, although it's a different type. You can use some of these as well. These are called alligator clips. Crocodile clips, alligator clips. Yeah.
Alligator.
Yeah. So we're going to start with sectioning the back. So I'm going to turn you around, George. Can you stand for a moment? Okay, so back here. Okay, and then turn with your back to the camera. That's lovely, thank you. Right, okay, so we're going to start by sectioning the back. Come down the back of the middle, use your comb all the way down, and then part the hair. What we want to do is to be able to put a nice baseline in the back, and that's where all of our layers are going to come down to. Take a section about halfway up and diagonally down, like that. And then clip this lot out of the way. If your child's hair is shorter than George's, then you may not need to do all this clipping up. Okay, and there's the other clip. Now, are you ready, George, for me to start cutting your hair?
Yes.
It's going to be a big difference because you've not had your hair cut since Christmas. Okay, right. Now, at this point, ask your child to tip their head down. Down here. That's lovely. If George is used to having his hair cut at home, because I always do it, take your hair, take the hair between the fingers. Find your line where you'd like to be, and then just neatly cut across. You won't be able, for a child over the age of about 4, to do this in one finger length. Okay. To check the length, pull it down on either side, you'll be able to feel the difference. I can immediately feel that in my first cut, it's shorter on one side than on the other. So I'm just going to work across. This happens a lot with children because they happen to move. So keep on checking as you're going through. Can't expect a perfect haircut on any child under the age of about 6 unless you are using clippers all over. Next step is we're going to comb it down and then we're going to put our hand flat against the hair and we're just going to check that there's no strays. You've got something to say. What would you like to say?
Be careful not to cut your fingers.
Yes, that's a very good tip, George. Okay, so you can see we've got our baseline in here. Now we're not going short on George. He's still going to have a little bit just on the neck here. Okay, so next step here is to take another section. About an inch or so wide, depending on the thickness of your child's hair. If your child has got very thick hair, then you will want to take narrower sections. If your child has fine hair, you can get away with wider sections. Little tip for children with curly hair. It bounces up to 2 inches once it's dried. So allow for that extra bounce when you're cutting it. Curly hair, always cut it longer than you want it to be when it's finished. So now we've got our guideline from our first section. Lovely, keep your head down for me, please. We've got our guideline from our first section still. You should be able to see that through your new section. If you can't, make your new section smaller. Because you've got your guideline, it's going to be a bit easier to work across the back now. And again, you've got your new section, check your length. I have a habit of leaving it slightly longer on the left hand side. I've been doing this for nearly 30 years and I still do that every time.
30?
Yes, Mummy's old. But you knew that, didn't you?
Yes. I don't remember how many times you've done it.
How many times I've done your hair?
Yeah.
Well, I usually cut your hair about 3 or 4 times a year, and you are nearly 7. So that's quite a few times. But it's just a clip. Just clipping your hair out the way.
Was it the alligator one or the big one?
The big one.
Oh yeah.
The pink one.
Oh, the crocodile.
Yeah. Yeah, of course you can. What, video or the haircut? The video and the haircut. Well, we'll see. We'll see. If it's a really bad video, I'm not going to post it. Okay, right, that's looking about right. Okay, so we've done the back section. Now we're going to continue putting in an outline now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a section and I'm going to turn you this way now, lovey. Is that all right? So we're going to take a section about halfway between the top of the ear and here. So we're just going to go about there, about temple height, and we're going to clip that up out of the way. Okay, at this point we are going to, you can really see how much hair is coming off, can't you? So we're putting the outline in. Now, at this point your child needs to keep their head lovely and level. So what you're going to ask them to do is to be a statue. Can you be a statue? Like a soldier statue. Really, really still. Can you do that? Lovely. Okay. So we're going to start just by going level, just to get our baseline in. Now this is going to change, the shape will change when we put the layers in. So at the moment we are literally just putting in an outline, which is the same all the way round.
Mummy,
Uh-huh.
it's a funny. It looks like a lot of things today on the window.
It does look like a lot of things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to stop recording. There we go. Yep, we're still recording. Lovely. Lucky you, don't you? Gorgeous. Okay, so I'm just going to do the same on the other side. I'm not sectioning on this side because the parting is quite far over, so we don't need to stress too much. There's not as much hair. Okay, right, okay, so face the camera, George. There you go. So it looks very much like a bowl cut right now. It's not going to stay that way. Check the length. Helpful to be in front of a mirror. That way you can see the levels. Yeah. Keep yourself lovely and still, please, darling. There we go. Right, now we're going to start the layers. And we're going to start with the top.
I like my haircut so far.
Do you?
Yep.
Okay, this is where you're going to see a lot come off. And you're really going to start to notice the difference. So take a section about 1 inch wide across the top, and you're going to go from the fringe back to the crown. Take that section in your left hand, unless you're left-handed. Comb it directly up. Chin lovely and level, yeah? Check in the mirror that your child is straight. Take your section, lift it straight up, and cut off the desired amount of hair. Always take a piece of your previous section to give you your guideline.
Hello.
Hello, darling. So now you can see quite a difference there, can't you? Now, because you've got this section in, this makes the rest of the top very easy. Take that section, comb it over to one side, left or right, doesn't matter. Comb across, in a line, comb across another section, comb across another section, about 1 inch wide. Pick it up, comb it straight up. Are you keeping your head lovely and level, darling? Mm-hmm. And you can see the guideline and the hair to come off. Continue that, working forwards.
As you can see, we're doing this in the kitchen.
Yes, we are, because it's got the best light, hasn't it?
Yep. And in this house, we have 3 floors.
We do, yes. It's a bit inconvenient sometimes, isn't it?
Yes, 1 underground and 1 up above.
Yeah. We're going to do the same with that top section. We're going to take it over to the other side now.
And we've got centre.
Yes. And we're going to comb again, straight up. And there you can see the hair to come off. Cut straight across.
Cut.
Cut. Trim. To make you look spectacular, shall we?
Yep. That is a lot of hair.
It is, yes. Okay, right, so.
I'm surrounded by my hair.
So what we're going to do now is we're just going to double check that we have picked up everything that we can in horizontal line all the way across the top. So just go back. You're going to pick up more hair and just give it a trim. George doesn't like his hair too short, so that's why we're not going for a classic short back and sides. However, this method that we're working on will do a scissor cut for any a layered scissor cut for any child. So you are just simply picking your lengths. So whether you want to leave your child's hair 6 inches long or 1 inch long, the same method applies. Although if you're doing it 1 inch long, you may want to use a pair of clippers. So as you can see, I'm just working around in a circle, just picking everything up as I go. Making sure. Oh, you're a bit wonky. There you go. Okay. So we already have our top layers in, and we have our outline in. Now we're going to work on the side layers. So again, just pop the parting in, or go round at temple height.
Temple?
Yeah, it's a part of your head.
Oh.
Clip up any excess hair that you don't want in this section. Okay, so what we're going to do is I've got a rough idea of how long I want his layers to be on the side. So I'm going to come along and I'm going to pull a vertical section. Again, make sure your child's head is straight. You're lovely and straight. Up, up, up. Brilliant. Okay, a lovely straight section. And I'm going to come out to about here because this is going to fall down to the bottom of the ear, which is a good length for George. And we're going to put that section in there. This is going to be our guide section. So you can see that is the length there, reaching the bottom of the ear. I'm going to take another section. Again, I'm using most sections about 1 inch or so wide.
You can see our knitting oven right beside me.
Yes, you can. So it's just at the bottom of the ear there. Do you want to turn and show them? There we go. Right. That was a shiver, wasn't it? And we're going to work, and we're going to go to one section past the ear. Ooh. Okay. Now we're going to go to the other side. I'm going to take the same size section.
Why did you clip it to your shirt?
Because that's a very handy place to put it. Because I'm quite a long way from the table, so I can't put it down. Okay,
You
so
could just move and put it down.
You're right, I could just move and put it down, but I don't want to.
Okay.
Now, if you are right-handed, you may well find that when you're working on the right-hand side of the head, that you want to use another clip to clip this hair that you're not cutting out of the way. It's just about logistics if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you want to do it on the other side of the head. Again, we are going to pull the hair out vertically. I'm going to cut, and there we go, to the bottom of the ear. Stop making gestures. Horror. You're a horror.
Hey, don't call me a horror.
You are.
No, I'm not.
Your head's wonky again. Well, now you sound like a piglet. That's not attractive at all. Okay. And one last section for this here.
And you can see how tall I am in the camera.
Yeah, you are tall for someone who's not quite 7.
No.
Okay, at this point, we're going to put our comb and our scissors down for a moment, and we are going to check the length on the sides. Very easy to do. Just pull the hair out from the side of the head. You'll be able to judge by feel. which side is longer. And believe me, one will be. And as usual for me, it's this side. So we're going to go back, we're going to take a little bit more off. The computer's gone to sleep again. Yes, but I can still make a typing mistake, can't I? Okay. Right, so here we go. Next step is to blend the top into the sides. Take a section from the crown of the head down to just behind the ear.
So what's the crown?
The crown is this bit at the back and the top of your head. Okay, take a nice inch wide section.
Inch wide?
Yeah, 1 inch wide. Okay, upper, you're going wonky.
I just can't help it.
I know, but when I put my first section in on each bit, you need to be really straight. There we go, see? And we're just going to cut straight up there. So now you're really seeing the difference. Hey, that's annoying.
Cut. Snip, snip.
So you're really, really starting to see this haircut come together now.
Yeah. It's getting quite short.
It is. I did say it'd be a big difference. It's not been cut since last year. Right, okay, so now we're going to move into the back now that we've got our sides. Yes, there's hair everywhere, isn't there? Do you want me to get the broom?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying like...
Here. You're going to. You can always put clean socks on after.
That's better.
Better? Okay, right. So we're going to move into the back now. Now that we've got the sides done, bear in mind we are going to be going back and tidying up. That happens at the end of the haircut. At the moment we're just doing the layers. So let's turn you to the side. So you can see he's got this lovely step going on here. So this is the part that we've already cut. This is the part that we haven't. So we're going to be moving around now into this section. What we're going to do is we're going to take a section from each side. So we're going to go one section on one side, one section on the other, and we're going to constantly check as we move in towards the centre at the back. Okay? So I'm going to start with this section here. You're going to want your clips. Clip that section out of the way. Here we go. Use your guideline, which is the section that you last cut. I'm going to pull that out. You okay? Lovely. Chin up. Chin up, chin up, chin up. That's great. Well done. Always pull your hair out directly, vertically from the head. Don't pull it to one side or the other. That's called over direction, and that will mean that the section that you're cutting is longer than the previous one. I'm going to do the same on the other side now. when you're done, you can have a chocky bar. How's that? Is that going to be alright? Seal bar?
Oh yeah, that one. They are my favourite bars.
At the moment.
Well, in fact, not really. It might be fudge or double decker.
I haven't got any of those, I'm afraid.
No, but it might. Well, they are my favourite so far.
Don't look at the camera right now. Don't look at the camera right now.
I'm looking at the bean.
At the Ben. Fibber.
I'm not Bieber.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Yeah, you are. You silly fibber.
No, 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 no. No, I'm
Okay,
not.
right. Let's just turn your head, the back of your head. So I've done these sections here, these sections here. I've now just got this long section here in the centre. The light isn't great. I do apologise. It doesn't give you that much of an idea of what I'm doing here. I'm now going to take a centre section. Now, I'm not expecting precise haircuts. This is a child. Children wriggle, children move, children dance during haircuts. It happens. Take a centre section. Move. I'm just going to take some of this bulk off here. It's going to make it a bit easier. Okay. And I'm down to the last couple of sections now.
Oh, crocodile thingy.
What crocodile thingy?
Ah,
Oh, the clip.
it's getting in the way.
Is it? Sorry about that. Oh, don't turn your head when I've got scissors.
Sorry.
The clip is meant to be nice and close to your neck. The gown is meant to be wrapped all the way around you nice and tight. And this is why I don't cut your hair very often. Okay, last section for these vertical layers. Okay, so you can see we've now got the basic shape of a boy's scissor haircut. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do some shaping and some blending now. At this point, if you're not feeling very confident, you can go ahead and start using your thinning scissors if you've got them. So we're going to turn George towards the camera so that you can see how we're going to do the blending in. So at the moment, his haircut is basically boom, boom. What we want to do is take those corners off and round out. So we're going to take again, we're going to start at the crown, and we're going to take our section, and we're going to pull it out at a 45-degree angle. We're going to point cut. That means to take your scissors in like this. Snip, 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 snip. This is going to soften the overall look. And it's also going to round out any points in the haircut. Be careful here. You want to hold the hair further away from the scissors than you did when you were cutting straight. I have, like many hairdressers, an awful lot of scars on the first two fingers of my left hand from where I have been point cutting and point cut into my finger. hurts, it bleeds a lot. Don't do it.
Not.
No, not a good idea.
Beware.
Not a good idea. Again, pick the hair up, 45-degree angle, and snip.
What?
Since when did you become a chicken? Okay. So you've done the top forwards of the ears, now you're going to do the top behind the ears, blending the crown into the back. Don't be so daft creature.
Oh, it's gonna sleep again.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? I don't know if it's still recording though. There you are. See? So do you like this, George? You don't normally get to watch your hair being cut, do you?
No. But I don't get to see most of it, so I might have to watch it all the way through.
Don't fidget. If your child is a fidget, use thinning scissors, not point cutting. Okay, now, there's one more thing that we're going, a couple more bits that we've got to do, but we're nearly there. So you can see a big difference now between George now and George when we started. Okay, so we're going to check her outline, going all the way around. But first we are going to shape the back into the neck a little bit. So we're going to turn George to the side again. Okay, so you can see it flicks out a little bit at the moment. That's a little bit annoying. So what we're going to do is change our angle. So we need a section. We're going to go from the bit of the head that points out the most. So find your child's head, and we're going to go from there. Okay, I'm going to section that off. Start with the middle of the back. So that is here. Okay, I'm going to take a section, and we're going to go and just angle it down. We don't want to go any further in than our baseline outline. We're almost just taking the corner off in the bottom of the back of the head.
There is so much hair on the floor.
I know. And why is that?
Because the hair cutting?
Yeah, and because you haven't had your hair cut since Christmas. Stay still, fidgets.
Hey, don't call me fidget.
You are fidgeting.
No, I'm not.
You're not a statue, are you? Okay, so you can see that just sits a little bit better going into the neck there. Now we're going to just finish off our outline. So for George, I just want to make it nice and neat, just round the ears there. Now, I'm just going to pull it down. And you can see it's just a little bit scruffy there. Just going to check that. And it comes to the top of his earlobe, which is fine. For someone who's not had a haircut in several months. Yeah. Okay, and I'm just going to pull forwards in front of the ear, just to meet the fringe. No.
I'm going to look after it for you.
I need it, George. Now, fringes. The front of the hair is always going to bounce up more than you think, especially if your child has a cow's lick. That's why we're doing it at the end of the haircut, so the hair is pretty much dry and it's quite happy with how it's sitting. Don't apply too much tension to the hair here. Just gently pull down. Always cut it longer than you think. You can always come back and take more off. We can't stick it back on. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, and I'm just going to do one last check on the outline at the bottom. Just about done, Molly. There's a bit.
I can tell you my name. It's George G. Rushton, but the G stands.
We don't share our names. Okay, so here you go. This is it. This is your basic boys scissor haircut. George wears his in a parting, so we're just brushing it over. For that reason, we leave the front longer so that the parting stays put and the fringe doesn't fall down too much. The longer it is, the better it will stay, on George at least. So here we go. This is it, basic boys haircut. Hopefully these explanations work for you. Any questions, pop me a message. I'll see what I can do for you, okay? Thank you.
How can I see?